We are live. We are live.
Can I start?
Yeah.
Sure. Good evening, all of you. Very warm welcome, all of you, to this IMT Ghaziabad PGDM ExP Program live YouTube webinar. My name is Rishikesh Shiknis. I am Senior Manager of Admissions for IMT Ghaziabad. And we have with us Nihar Amoncar. Dr. Nihar Amoncar is the Chair of PGDM ExP Program and faculty in the area of strategy, innovation, and entrepreneurship. He heads the Center for Enterprises and Business Improvement at IMT Ghaziabad. Professor Nihar started his career by co-founding an enterprise and transitioned to academia by pursuing a PhD in entrepreneurship from University of South Wales with full scholarship. He spent 10 years in the UK in various academic management roles, including as Director of MBA programs at University of Derby. He has won several best paper awards for his research in UK and Malaysia, and won the university-wide based lecturer and at South Wales University. He moved to IMT Ghaziabad in 2021. So with that, we will going to start this program webinar, and this webinar is all about IMT Ghaziabad PGDM ExP program, and Dr. Nihar will brief you about program insights and outcome also for the entire end-to-end journey of this 18 months full-time residential program. And with that, we will also address all the questions. You can put your questions in the chat box, and definitely after this Dr. Nihar's session, we will definitely address all the questions with Dr. Nihar. So with that, I would request Nihar, over to you.
Thank you, Rishikesh. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to this webinar for the PGDM ExP program at IMT Ghaziabad. So the fact that if you're joining us, that means you are someone with a profile of minimum 5 years of work experience, looking to transition your career or looking to elevate your career, looking to accelerate your career. And that is why, as an experienced professional, you're looking for an executive MBA program. So that's exactly what the PGDM ExP program is. The ExP stands for experienced professionals. So this is a program which has a criteria of admitting anyone with minimum 5 years of work experience prior to the start of the program. So the program is designed in such a way that it is a PGDM. So first of all, I would like to state that it is a postgraduate diploma in management. It is not a PGCM or a PGP. So it's a very core postgraduate diploma in management, and it is for 18 months. So the format is 15 plus 3, so 15 months of taught plus 3 months of capstone project. That's how it is. So let me give you a little bit background to why this program, which was firstly known as PGDM Executive, has changed from being PGDM Executive program to a PGDM ExP program. Let me just give you a little bit background about that. So this program started in the year 2000. It is one of the oldest executive programs in the country, run by a private B school. We have a long list of very senior alumni who have graduated right from the year 2000 to 2022, who are in very senior positions within the industry, which is a testament that this program has been successful over the last 2 decades, and it continues to be so. It is one of the longest running executive programs in the country. So, but last year, AICTE, which is our governing body, changed some of the rules. So AICTE basically requested all the institutions, the B schools, to merge all their PGDMs. So they said you cannot have a separate PGDM part-time, you cannot have a separate PGDM executive. It needs to be one PGDM and it can be delivered in different formats. So essentially what that meant was that the curriculum or the architecture of all our programs had to mirror each other. So the 2-year program, has the same number of credits as the executive program. So in terms of its rigor, in terms of its mode of delivery, in terms of its accreditations, all our programs now are the same. So all are PGDMs, and they are just delivered in different formats. So we have a part-time program which is delivered on weekend, alternate weekend format. This is an executive program which is a full-time residential program. So we do not do any hybrid teaching. We do not do any online teaching. You will, if you do join this program, you will be on campus in October this year, and you will spend the next 15 to 18 months on campus. I say 15 to 18 because a lot of times, a lot of our students get placed by the time they finish 15 months. And in that scenario, we allow our students to do the 3 months capstone project, when they are actually, when they have actually joined the organization that they are placed in and they have started their work. So it is a full-time residential program. So besides the merger, what happened was AICTE also said to the institution that this is a chance for us to revise the architecture as well, because now since the programs merged, the number of credits also had to increase. So this program used to be 73 credits before. Now the credits had to increase, and they said that this program, which used to be 15 months, now has to be 18-month program. So basically this PGDM executive, which was a 73 credit 15-month program, changed into a 18-month program. So this was to comply with the AICTE changes, right? So this program is accredited by AICTE. It is also accredited by AACSB, which is a premium accreditation body in the world. Not many B schools all over the world are accredited by AACSB. And what does this accreditation mean? So when you're accredited by someone like AACSB, it means that you have world-class quality standards, you have world-class teaching standards, you have world-class standards of education, which are matched by all the B schools in the world which are AACSB accredited. So it is really a benchmark of quality. So how did the architecture change process happen then? So once we started complying with the AICTE, it was basically a chance for us to relook at the entire curriculum. So I'll just talk you through the process of what happened. So one thing that we did was we had to engage with our stakeholders. So who are our stakeholders? Our alumni, the recruiters, corporate partners, industry partners, subject matter experts. We started engaging with all of them and trying to get insights in terms of what should a contemporary, robust executive program look like. And this is where the insights came from. So we really used a whiteboard approach. We never really wanted to just do incremental changes to the architecture that previously existed. So this was a completely redrawn program, right? So every inch of the curriculum was developed from scratch. So we took all these insights from the stakeholders and we started a brainstorming exercise in order to work out how can we create a program which is, true to its legacy. So it has a 20+ year legacy, this program, and it belongs to an institution which has a 40-year-old legacy in management education. So we wanted to carry forward that legacy, but at the same time, move and evolve with time. And ensure that some of the changes that are happening within the business environment, within the career landscape is reflected in this program. And the students who actually pursue this program are going into the business world ready for the future of the industry. So we really kept Industry 4.0, which is the fourth industrial revolution, in mind when we designed this program. So if you see the program architecture, there are classical courses like strategy, leadership, etc. But also there are core courses which are future-oriented, like digital business transformation, emerging technologies and sectoral analysis, business analytics, data science. There is fintech. There is I think one workshop on data science, AI, and ML. So the program got positioned on the overlap of technology and management. So today, you might agree with me that the domains of technology and management are converging. So technology is disrupting how we do a business, how we manage a business, in ways that has been, we have seen it before. So right from the time that the first industrial revolution took place, and when we saw that, the integrated factory, to the time when the next industrial revolution took place, and we saw the advent of, the steam engine, and we saw that goods could be transported over long distances. The third industrial revolution took place when the internet, was started to be used in business, and that transformed how we could sell goods all over the world, how we could reach to customers, how orders could be processed, till now. So every industrial revolution has disrupted the way business and management is done, and it is only getting accelerated going forward. So that's where I'm trying to say that, the program is positioned for you to be oriented towards the future. So that has been the exercise that we have gone through. So, that's how the program was redesigned, the curriculum was redesigned. So it took a lot of time and effort and interaction with experts, those who have been there, done that, to shape the program the way it looks like today. So let me just give you a few highlights of the program. Okay, so I'll just share my screen, and I'll talk you through some of the highlights. So one of the founding pillars of how we design the program, I'll just like to talk about this, is that many people ask me, okay, so how is the executive program different from a 2-year program? I mean, this is a question that a lot of people grapple with. They always think that the 2-year traditional MBA is superior to the executive MBA, and it's much more rigorous, it's much more intense. And the executive MBA is really it's like it's more of a stepchild of the 2-year MBA program. So I would like to sort of bring you clarity about how actually executive programs are designed and how they're different from 2-year MBA programs. So look, this is the Bloom's taxonomy. I won't get into too technical details of this, but most of the undergraduate programs, so when we do our undergraduate study, they focus on the first two layers, the bottom 2 layers. Okay, we have to remember a lot of concepts, we have to recall facts, and we have to understand a lot of concepts in order to explain our ideas. So that is where the focus is, because we've come from the 10+2 system, and then it is about choosing which stream I want to specialize in, and then focusing on understanding and remembering the key concepts in those areas. When you come to the postgraduate education, right? So we talk about master's education. We capitalize on the bottom 2 layers. So your focus is not on understanding and remembering. It is more on application, right? So now you have to understand and remember what you did in your previous education, what you did in your previous work experience, and use that information in new situations, right? So that is where most of the postgraduate programs are sort of positioned. So the 2-year programs, what they do is they will mainly focus on application, analyzing, and evaluating, right? This is where the 2-year programs are positioned. Whereas an executive MBA program is slightly different in the sense that because all the participants come with minimum of 5 years of work experience, there we take into account that you have gone through lived experiences in your workplace, which a fresher sitting on a 2-year program has not had that kind of experience. So typically in a 2-year MBA program, you have 1 to 3 years of work experience. That's the cohort, the characteristic. But in my program, in this program, The work experience can range anywhere from 5 years to 14 years. So the average experience of my current batch is 7.5. So these are diverse group of people who have come from diverse educational backgrounds, diverse industrial backgrounds, different roles. Some are junior managers, some are middle managers, some have actually led, a substantial number of people and teams. So they have to now use that information in new situations, right? Whatever is their experience, they have to try and relate to new knowledge that they are going to get. But what distinguishes this program is its focus on analyze, evaluate, and create. So while we stay, I'll tell you the typical example of it, of how do we do it in the classroom. Okay, so the classroom is a case-based classroom. There, the professor will come. It is very unlikely that he will start with a particular framework or a concept. He will start by, telling you, okay, you have read the case before coming to the class. Now let's talk about it. And that's how the class really explodes. And you'll have people throwing their hands up, and everybody will be eager to share their version of how they understood the case. And that is really the point wherein you start analyzing information. So you have read the case, you have analyzed the case, and you have drawn connection between ideas. You have examined where the dilemma is and how to solve it, etc. Now, this is where a lot of your own experience comes into play. And then what the professor does is, in the midst of all these critical thoughts and perspectives, he brings in the framework and he'll say, okay, have you thought about this? Have you thought about that? So he is making you evaluate now, or she is going to make you evaluate. So you have to defend your position based on how you selected your position. So you will be using data from the case to defend yourself. You will be judging different options that different peers in your classroom may give you. You will critique them, you will weigh them, you will support some, you will appraise some, you will argue some. So what you're essentially doing is, after analyzing, now you're moving into an evaluate situation, wherein you're evaluating the different options that face a company, a leader, or a decision maker, or a manager. So by the end of it, okay, so when you reach the, you do this evaluation and analyzing throughout the different courses that you will go. But the create part is something that is very unique to this program, because there are two ways in which our people create new original work. So one is the capstone project, right? So the capstone project is basically designed to allow you to now apply some of the learnings that you had within the classroom in a real-time business environment. So in the capstone project, you are not working on a hypothetical situation. You're working with a real business on a real business problem. So there, you have to, of course, analyze, evaluate, but more importantly, create. So you have to carry out an investigation. You have to develop the options. You have to formulate the path forward. You have to construct the entire plan. And you have to convince the business that this is the best way to go ahead for them. You have to back it with a lot of data. You have to back it with a lot of rational argument and concepts, tools, and techniques that you might have learned in the different classes. So that is where the executive program takes really a unique position, because everybody comes in from the world of work experience. The immensity and the diversity of ideas that are usually shared in the classroom are much more rich than what you would find in a 2-year program. Also, you develop a very strong peer group, right? Because everybody comes from good positions, good companies. It is a very competitive admissions process. You have to go through entrance test, you have to go through a leadership potential test, you have to go through a interview, etc. So whoever gets in, that they are good because they deserve to be there. So you really become a part of a very unique, strong, tightly bound cohort, which which is going to remain together, beyond the course of the program. So that's how the 2-year program is really different from what the executive program is. Let me give you a few examples of our program architecture and how the program sort of progresses. So when you join, you join into the orientation term. So this orientation term is for you to transition from your work experience back into academia, because a lot of you would have done your undergraduation or formal education long before 2023. So the orientation term is to help you come back into academia, transition back. So then you move into the foundation term. So there we focus on the fundamentals of management. So we don't start from scratch, because obviously you've had your experience, so we try to build on that. Then we move on to the functional term, which is about now getting in-depth expertise on different functional areas: marketing, operations, finance, HRM, etc. And then you proceed to the very unique international term. So there is an international immersion, which is a part of this program. It's a compulsory element, wherein you travel abroad for a month to study one term with one of our top business school partners. So this year, our current students are actually in France right now when we are having this webinar. They are in France with Burgundy School of Business, which is a triple accredited business school, AACSB, AMBA, and EQUIS. They are studying very unique courses over there, like cross-cultural management, green technologies, innovation, etc. And it is not just studying those 6 credits. So you have to study for credits over there. And you also get a certificate from Burgundy School of Business. But besides the classroom studies, you also have a lot of corporate visits that we design into that international immersion. So you get to experience how the different business environments in Europe are like, how the different companies behave differently, how do they think differently to companies in Asia. And then there are also cultural visits for you to get a better understanding of cultures beyond the boundaries of our nation. So that is the international term. And when you come back from the international term, there is a customization term. So this is one of the uniqueness of this program, wherein we allow you to specialize in particular subject areas. So the most popular specializations are marketing, IT analytics, and operations. Although we offer more specializations than that, it is usually these 3 which are the most popular, because when we offer specialization, we have a very strict rule that there has to be a minimum subscription in those specializations, because you don't want to really just join a classroom with only 2 or 3 people. It's just not viable to do that. It is not going to be a good learning experience. And then after that specialization term, wherein you do 10 credits of specialization. So if you choose marketing specialization, you have to choose 5 different electives of marketing. If you choose operations, you have to choose 5 electives of operations. And after that, you move into the integration term. So the integration term is basically the cross-functional term, as we call it, wherein you have to bring together all the insights of the terms that have gone by and now connect the dots. How the general management apparatus works, how does the areas of the business interact with each other, and how do they impact each other. So there is a beautiful simulation that we do, cross-functional simulation, which is a strategy simulation. And that is a simulation wherein students in groups run different companies and they compete against each other, over several rounds, to see who runs the most successful company. So that simulation, you have to really use all the concepts that you have learned before to see, how do they apply in practice, what is the outcome, and this is a great simulation because, before you go back out into the practice world, it tells you, you can test some of your hypotheses over there, if you may like. And then, as I said before, the final term is the capstone project, wherein you actually now go beyond simulations and apply your learning in a practical environment. So the project is done in 2 ways. If you're placed by the time the project term starts, then you will do a project on the company that you're placed in. If you're not placed, then you will do a consulting project. So that's how the program journey is. And I will talk a little bit about placement now. So placements have been very successful in this program over the last few years. So I'll give you some statistics. So this year, the batch which graduated in this year got a highest CTC of 39.5 lakhs. But what is more important is the average and median CTC is at 23 lakhs and 22.5 lakhs per annum. So this is very significant because if you see the increase in average CTC pre-MBA versus post-MBA, on an average, our cohort, when they join our program, they have an average CTC of somewhere around 8.9 lakhs. Whereas when they graduate, they have an average CTC, or the batch has an average CTC of 23 lakhs. So, there is a significant improvement in your earning potential after you go through this program. And this actually also gives a testament of success of this program. The acceptance and the respect that the industry has for the institute and this program, because every year our CTC is increasing. Last year the average CTC was 21 lakhs. This year it is 23 lakhs. So we are trying to add more and more value to the program, and the industry is recognizing it, and that is reflected in our placements. So this year we are going one step forward to make sure that our students are differentiated and unique when they go into the workplace. So we have tied up with KPMG to do 2 professional certifications. So one is on consulting skills, and the other certification is on ESG and sustainability. ESG and sustainability, as you may know, is becoming very important for businesses going ahead. That's what our future is going to look like. So we are one of the first B schools to tie up with a reputed company like KPMG to deliver these certifications. And consulting skills, because 50% of my batch is usually placed in consulting companies. They want to work for consulting companies. And that is why we tied up with KPMG to deliver the consulting skills program. So these programs are delivered by directors and partners of KPMG themselves. So there is a lot of practical element to it. They bring a lot of practical experience into the classroom. So if you see the placements in terms of role-wise, people have gone into project management. What is really encouraging is 23% of them have gone into strategy. So these are really good roles. And most of them have gone into consulting. If you see 53% of the batch is placed in consulting, because it's not by design, it's somewhat by design, but also it's that, a lot of the senior people are preferred by consulting companies in different roles. And then online retail, supply chain, IT services, logistics, BFSI is becoming very, very attractive to some of our students. And so that's the placement scenario. And some of our top recruiters, you can see the top names in the country: Tata Trusts, KPMG, HSBC, Deloitte, L&T Infotech, Nestle, the GeoMart. They all are a part of our recruitment group. So the recruitment in this program happens very interestingly, because we have a lot of companies that come directly on campus. Yes, like so Accenture comes directly on the campus, HSBC comes to campus. So a lot of companies come on campus, and they'll have we will have placement days. But because a lot of students who join this program come from very unique backgrounds, unique work experience, etc., there is a lot of lateral placements that also happen in this program. So we really work very hard with you to identify the right kind of role for you, to provide you an opportunity to sit for interviews with the kind of companies that you want, the kind of roles that you want to have, the kind of career that you want to have. So we really have employed an expert company. So there's a expert service provider who will work with you throughout the course of the program on profile mapping, on resume building, mentoring you for your career choices, preparing you for your interviews. So, there's a lot of structured help that you get that will enable you to try and get the kind of job that you want. And the second thing is that there's a very well-structured alumni mentoring scheme. So we have over 15,000 alumni as an institute. We have around 800 alumni who are from this program. And they are always leveraged to sort of mentor the current students. So you can connect with them anytime. We usually have an annual alumni event. So this year in April, we had a grand executive alumni event wherein we invited all our executive program alumni. And there was a great interaction that happened between the students and them. And that is where a lot of opportunities for short-term projects come. There's a lot of opportunities for placements. There's a lot of opportunities for alumni mentoring. So we give you all that opportunity. We give you a lot of support outside the classroom to really help you succeed in your career. So and besides that, one more unique thing about this program is we focus on a lot on the individual growth as well, not just on academic knowledge. So we have workshops like managing sales, personal branding, which are part of the program, which focuses on your growth as an executive, as an individual. And then we also send you for a 4-day outbound personal growth lab with one of the most reputed personal growth lab companies in the world and in India. They work with a lot of top institutions like IIM Bangalore, etc. So you go to Dehradun for 4 days and you really immerse yourself in this personal growth lab. That is where a lot of the entire facility is basically designed to bring the best out of you and to test your limits as well. So there are lots of elements that will help you, focus on your individual growth. And it is a very friendly environment in IMT Ghaziabad. We like to support each other. We like to work together. There's a lot of coherence between the thought processes of the students. And that is what is very important as well, because you want your 15 to 18 months on campus over here to be those that you remember when you go ahead. So so this is a completely residential program. That you have to stay in the hostel. You will bring back a lot of nostalgic moments, perhaps from the last time that you had to stay on campus when you were doing your undergraduate studies. So I'm going to stop here because it's 6:30. I've been talking, continuously for 30 minutes. And I'm going to, use the rest of the webinar, the next half an hour, to answer the questions that may come in from our YouTube Live. So if there are any questions, you can post them online and we will do our best to respond to them. And, if do not hesitate to ask any nature of questions. I'm happy to answer them. And so please go ahead.
Dr. Nihar, we have got 2-3 questions.
Please go ahead.
Yeah, sure. So the first question from Priya.
Yeah.
She has asked, so please provide a highlight on class strength, average previous year work experience for the batch 2022.
So the average work experience is 7.5 years. That's where we like to keep it, 7.5 to 8, because we really want the class to be an ideal mix of people with, over 12 to 15 years experience, but also, we need people from 5 to 8 years of experience to be there as well. So it's a very balanced learning environment. And as far as the average, and what was the other question, Rishikesh, besides the average experience of the class?
Class strength.
Class strength. So we like to keep the class strength somewhere around 40. That's the typical, on an average, if you say over the last 15, 20 years that this program is run, we have kept the limit somewhere around 40 students. The reason is because we like to keep a very, sharp learning environment. We don't really want a class full of 100 people, because this is about, paying a lot of attention to each student. It is about providing time and space and the learning opportunity to every student within the classroom. It allows more, fruitful discussions to take place within the classroom, particularly because we are so, used to the case learning pedagogy. If you have, let's say, 100 students in your class, really, not everyone gets a chance to put their points forward. Whereas in a class of 40, you don't only get a chance, but you actually get to have a rich discussion. So that's where the class strength usually is. So at around 40 will be the class size over the years it has been. And the average work experience has been between 7 to 8 years.
Yeah, sure. So next question is from Harneet. What percentage of the last batch was placed and what was the lowest package offered? And it would be great if insights are provided on the same.
Yeah, sure. So in the current batch, which passed out in in March this year, we placed out of 40 students that we had, we placed 37 students, and all these 37 students have started working. And the two other students which are yet to be placed, we are giving them a lot of support. It is just that sometimes you have to, give more time for certain people's, the right opportunity to come, and but most 90% of my batch is placed between October and February period. That is the peak placement time. So 95% you can say people will be placed between this period itself. In case of one or two students, depending on the choice of companies or the specificity of their roles, they really want a very specific role. They want a very specific location. In that case, one or two might take a longer time. So this is one. And what was the other question, Rishikesh? Lowest package. I think that was
yes,
the
lowest package.
Yeah. So I think the lowest package that has been given, if I'm not wrong, is somewhere around 16 lakhs per annum. That is the lowest package. Now, I'll tell you a little bit about how these package distributions take place. So one is that it depends a lot on your work experience, the kind of profile that you have, where have you worked, what kind of work have you done, what level have you worked at, your previous scores, so your graduation scores, your GMAT scores or your CAT scores also play a role in that. And then last but not the least, how you have performed during the MBA program. What is your GPA, etc. Where do you stand in the class? Then how much value addition have you done besides what is the minimum requirement of the program. So like, for example, a lot of my students do short-term projects, and we work with them to bring these short-term projects in. So we work with CII, FICCI, Ghaziabad Management Association, a lot of different associations to try and bring short-term projects in. A lot of short-term projects coming from our alumni, and students engage with these projects outside their curriculum. And what that does is it allows them an opportunity to demonstrate their worth to different companies, and it also gives them a nice narrative to speak about during their interviews, because a lot of recruiters really like to see that okay, you've not just gone through the MBA program end to end, but you have actually worked on projects, and you have contributed outside the classroom. A lot of students work on different committees that we have. So we have a placement committee, we have an admissions committee, we have a project committee which brings in these projects. There is a PRISM committee, which is a public relations committee. So a lot of students take leadership roles or initiative-based roles in these committees. So a lot of companies really like that as well, that this person has stepped out of their comfort zone, they have led projects, they have taken initiatives and done stuff. So all these factors together determine the kind of placement that you get and the kind of salary that you get. So this is what it is. So the average is somewhere around 21 lakhs, 23 lakhs per annum for the entire batch. Yeah.
Thank you. We will move to the next question. Next question is from Vikas. Please provide highlights on scholarship.
Okay, Vikas, that's a very good question. Now, unfortunately, Rishikesh, you might correct me if I'm wrong. We do not have any direct scholarships as such for this program, right?
Yes, we do not have direct scholarships for this program.
So, Vikas, that is something that we have been thinking. We have been, sort of internally deliberating that probably we need to keep some sort of a scholarship in place for this program. Something like a positive decision might be taken going ahead. But I'm afraid that I have to be very honest with you that at this current point, there are no scholarships available for this program, unfortunately.
Yeah. So we'll move to the next question. Is there any age capping for the program?
No, there is no age capping for this program. We really do not, differentiate or distinguish between people based on age. You're welcome to be a part of this program, no matter whether you are in your 30s, 40s, or 50s. Even we have traditionally had a lot of participants, senior participants who have come in. Some being lawyers, some being exam professionals, some having a corporate career, but they wanted to transition into consulting. They wanted to start their own boutique consultancy. They have come and joined this program after 20-25 years in business. So people who have come from family business background wanting to transition into corporate careers. So we do not really cap any age. We don't really we want the class to be as diverse and rich as possible. So we want, like, for example, we actively encourage female participants to join this program because we are very conscious of women need to take more roles, more senior roles within companies. More women need to go into the board of directors. More women need to become CEOs of companies. So that we are encouraging a lot of diversity, not only in terms of background and but also age, in terms of gender. We want this cohort to be as diverse as possible.
Thank you. Dr. Nihar. Next question is, I'm looking for a consulting role. So can I get the same?
Well, if I was an astrologer, I would have told you that yes or no, But see, as I told you, if I show you this figure, 53% of my batch is placed in consulting this year. Traditionally, consulting roles are consulting companies recruit from this program quite heavily. Why, if you ask me, is because they get a pool of people coming from different backgrounds, different expertise areas, which they want to build, the kind of talent within their company. So, for example, if I remember one gentleman who was a part of our program, he had over 15 years of experience in public sector. And consulting companies really wanted, someone with that much experience and expertise about how public sector companies work. So, they picked him up. Although he did not want to go into a consulting company, but when he had that conversation with that consulting firm, he saw the kind of value that he could add, and the package was really good, everything was really good. So he joined it. So while I cannot guarantee you that, I cannot guarantee to anyone that, will you get a consulting based job? As I said before, it depends on a lot of factors. One is your previous work experience, your aptitude for that role, how you perform on this program, etc. Your scores, etc. So, but what I can surely tell you is that we do provide you a platform for getting the kind of role that you want. So, for example, I was talking about the KPMG certifications. From this year onwards, we have from last year's batch onwards, we started this KPMG certifications. One on ESG sustainability, one on consulting. Now, the reason why we bought that was because we wanted, our people to be even more ready for going into consulting roles. So usually, let's say, for example, somebody who has not gone through this certification will have to join the consulting company, and spend the first 3 or 4 months getting trained, right, in that role. Whereas what we have designed with KPMG is the exact same training that you would get, which you're getting in on campus itself. So we are helping you become better prepared to grab consulting roles. So that's one. And secondly, the chances of getting into consulting are high because the number of consulting firms that recruit from us are high. So the conditions are there, but then nobody can ever tell you. It will be very wrong for any institute to tell you, I will guarantee you this placement in this company in this role. Nobody will be able to tell you, but the conditions are there, the data is there, the history is there. So, we have to work together. I always tell the students that placements, are not something that, we cannot go into companies with or B schools with an entitlement of placement. And I'm being very realistic when I say that. A lot of these schools talk about, placements as a given, which it never is. A placement is a road that we walk together. We want you to be placed in the best companies, in the best roles, with the best packages. That is not only in your interest, but in our interest as well. So we provide you the support that we do through certifications, through career coaching, through personal growth labs, through getting the best professors into your classroom. So we bring that, to the table. But what is also important for executives to recognize is that the other 50% you need to bring in terms of level of preparation, in terms of dedication, in terms of stepping out of the out of your comfort zone, preparing well, researching well, reading well, contributing well to the classroom, taking initiative. So the other 50% needs to be bought by you, and then good placements happen. So that is, to answer your question, that the conditions are there. Yes.
Yeah, so we'll go for next question, and very interesting question. The offer is asking. I think he has a lot of 4 to 5 questions back to back. We will try to answer, in a very short manner. Do you guys do proper KYC before?
Sorry, I did not hear the question correctly, Rishikesh. I think we have temporarily lost Rishikesh. I hope it's temporary. Just give us a moment. We will be back. Yes.
What's patty, I think. Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
So I don't know. I'll repeat once again. Zafar was asking a lot of questions. First is, do you guys do proper KYC for companies? Second is, what kind of packages those companies are offering? And third one is, do you guys check how much is the pay parity between people getting hired from these schools?
So I do not understand what KYC means with the companies. Usually what we do, I'll tell you the process. I'll try to answer your question. So we prepare a profile sheets, right, for each one of our candidates. So by the time you hit the placement cycle, which is somewhere in August, September, we send to the companies, to our recruiters, an entire placement brochure, which talks about the diversity of the profile, their educational backgrounds, work backgrounds, all of it, how they've performed, etc. What is their expertise areas. So this, like one-page profile sheets of each and every candidate of ours is shared with these recruiters. So when they come on to recruit, they are well aware of, who is the right fit for them and who is not, who they want to target. So we give them a very good understanding of what our batch strength is and the strength of each one of our students is. In terms of how much package this company has to offer, each company states that sometimes, okay, so some companies come and say that, we are hiring for this role, and they have a very well-defined CTC bracket. So that CTC bracket is because, sometimes they want to vary the CTC based on the number of years of work experience that you've had. They would want, if they want someone more senior, they would give more CTC, someone more junior, they will have lower CTC. So some companies give us that CTC bracket. Some companies do not give a clear indication. What they do is, once you sit for the interview, they will then negotiate with the head of placements in terms of what is the CTC they would want to offer. And as far as the kind of CTCs, the third question that you asked was, how are we on par with other institutions in terms of CTC offered? So we are very much at par. So for example, in our league of B schools, if you see what is offered on our campus, it's not too different from what will be offered at other campuses among other B schools. The reason is because, see, companies have a very set recruitment criteria. So let's say, for example, if they go to IIM Ahmedabad, they go with very specific roles in their minds, right? And they have a very well-defined CTC parameters for them. So when they come to IMT Ghaziabad, they have very well-defined parameters in mind. So it is up to the company, and they cannot, sometimes they do not like to do that, So for the same role, hiring from different B schools, different packages, they don't like to do that because it doesn't put them in a very good light. But the CTC actually depends on your profile. So it is based on your work experience. As I said, it is based on your quality of your studies and your performance, etc. So that's how it is.
Thank you so much, Dr. Nihar. He has another follow-up question, which is why there is continued declining of NIRF ranking for IMT Ghaziabad and how it is affecting placements and quality of intake students. And are you guys doing anything to improve for that?
Absolutely, and that's a very good question. See, these are the things that we have to discuss, because I'll tell you what we are doing. So, and what has there been a decline in placement? So I'll just answer those questions first. If you see the average CTC of this program or any of our program for that matter over the last 2 years, it is actually increasing. So if I remember correctly, our 2-year program, the average CTC last year was somewhere around 15. This year, it is somewhere around 17 or 18. Okay, you can check the details on our website. The same for this program. Last year, it was 21. This year, it is 23. So actually, the recruiters are showing faith in us. The industry is showing faith in us. And to be very frank with you, the legacy of this institution is such that, we are known for our quality. If somebody is coming in from IMT Ghaziabad, then they are the brand ambassadors for the legacy and the quality of education that IMT Ghaziabad stands for. What are we doing about the rankings? See, these rankings have a lot of different factors that are taken into account. Okay, so you cannot just say that that the rank is a direct indicator of the quality of education or the quality of placements. So quality of education and quality of placements are some components of the entire ranking parameters. The ranking parameters include things like, how much you spend, on infrastructure, how much you, how do you show how many number of students, how many seats, a lot of other things, which really, it is not a direct indication of the quality of education that people are having within the classroom. In terms of why we have declined is because these rankings take place, have parameters which are sometimes a bit skewed towards institutions coming from a university system, and sometimes it works against institutions like us, which are standalone autonomous institutions. Okay, but that does not mean, IMT Ghaziabad has taken a lot of steps in the past few years. We have increased the number of seats. We have actually more and more demand, coming in from the market. So, more and more number of students are joining. That's why we are increasing the number of seats. And the institute as a whole is going through this process of expansion and change. And sometimes that is reflected in the kind of rankings we are having. But if you ask the industry about the perception they have about us, I'm comfortable enough to tell you that it has not changed, and it is reflected in the kind of placements that we are getting. It is reflected in the kind of recruiters we are still being able to attract. It is reflected in the fact that they are still putting faith in our brand and our students. However, I'm sure our rankings will go up in the years to come, because these rankings take historical data, 3 years historical data. So I'm sure with the good work that we are putting in, the rankings will improve in the coming times. And NIRF is just one of the ranking systems. If you look at the other rankings, we are doing very well.
Thank you so much, Dr. Nihar, for this question. And definitely, I agree with you that placements are for IMT Ghaziabad is very much, I think very much excellent, and we are growing year on year. And I think average placement is 157% for last year. if I'm not wrong. So I think we are growing via placement wise. Next question from Priya is, what do you suggest to an applicant having almost 5 years of experience with 1.5 to 2 years of management background, team handling?
Okay.
And what is the right time to opt for this course?
The right time to opt for this course is anytime after you've clocked 5 years of experience. So look, Priya, I'll have to really look at your profile to give you a very clear answer in terms of whether this is the right time for you. But as far as anybody who has spent, let's say, 1.5 years managing people or managing processes or managing teams or managing departments, I think that is very good. Because we really appreciate students who bring managerial experience into the classroom, because the program is meant for you to transition from a non-management role to a management role, but also from a management role to a leadership role. So if you have had exposure to managing teams or departments, I think that will be a very valuable skill to bring into the classroom, because as a manager, you when you first become a manager, you really have this baptism by the fire, as we call it, because a lot of realities come to fore. At the time wherein you are really working on your own, and your manager has to bother you, you don't have to bother other people. Life seems okay, but the moment you are put in charge of a department, or if you're in charge of people, it's not just about doing your work, but it's about getting work done from people, and that's altogether a different dimension, as you may have realized at this point. So, and that complexity, if you bring into the classroom, we really like it, because see, what are the key pillars of this program? It's strategy, innovation, leadership, right? So leadership is something that will come to you more easily if you can relate your managerial experience to it. So if you have 5 years of overall work experience with 1.5 years in a management capacity, I think that is something that we would really look at quite strongly. I definitely cannot give you the answer, because you will have to make an application and we'll have to evaluate your profile. You'll have to go through the entire process. But that is something that looks good. Doesn't sound anything negative.
Sure. Thank you so much once again, Dr. Nihar. Now we will take only 2 questions, and then I would request all the participants that if you have any queries, you can always write to us. We have mentioned the email address and contact details in the chat box. So the next question from Anit is, I worked in IT industry as a software engineer for 3.5 years, then worked in
how many
education
years?
3.5 years.
3.5.
3.5 years, and then worked in education industry as a faculty for 6 years. So would the program be of benefit to me to go to IT or consulting sector?
Okay, that's a very good question. The 3.5 years of IT experience definitely is good, okay, because we have a lot of students who come from the IT industry. People who want to transition from technical roles into managerial roles or consulting roles. We will, again, I'll have to look at the profile as a whole, but the challenge comes when you have teaching experience. So I'm being very honest with you here, okay, because I don't want to just sound unrealistic. So take this in a balanced way. So once I look at your profile as a whole, I might see that this is good, because I don't have a full view of your profile at the moment. I'm just telling you based on experience. So teaching experience is very unique. We as teachers, we have a very unique skill set actually. But typically it is very difficult for us to sell these skills to a consulting company, because what they want is a very thorough and deep understanding of a particular industrial area. So let's say, for example, if somebody has worked for 6 to 7 years in the automobile industry, so they will rate that profile higher than somebody who has spent, let's say, those same amount of years, half in the IT industry and half in the education industry. So because they want somebody with a deep understanding of the automobile industry. The same way, if somebody's worked in the mining or the steel industry for 5 or 6 years, they want that person. Or if somebody has worked in IT industry for 6 or 7 years, they want that person. So they want people with substantial number of years of experience and expertise within one particular sector or industry. Teaching is something that is very unique, So if, for example, you can position yourself as a person who has a very deep understanding of higher education industry, or somebody who has a very unique, domain expertise in terms of you teach subjects which require a very unique skill set to teach, which are not easy to teach. So then, the profile can be good as well, because you see a lot of companies nowadays, for example, have L&D divisions, right? Learning and development divisions. And one of the things that they look for in this learning and development divisions is somebody with a training experience, somebody who has designed programs, somebody who knows how to deliver programs, somebody who has delivered to very different types of audiences, not just 20-year-old, but senior managers, etc., or public sector professionals. And a lot of consulting companies also have now started developing L&D services. So they deliver, learning and development programs for different corporates. So there, suddenly your profile might become attractive. Okay. So I'm giving you a very balanced answer because that's what it is. It's 50-50. We'll have to look at your profile as a whole. And we'll have to interact with you and see what your plans are, see what you've done in the past, and discuss this. So I'm that's what my response would be.
Thank you so much once again, Dr. Nihar. And with that, I think I remembered now, we are coming up with Profile and Admission Day on this 27th May at IMT Ghaziabad campus. So if you all guys are around from Delhi NCR, or if it's feasible to visit IMT Ghaziabad campus, so I would urge everyone, please do visit, and we will have profile evaluation with the Dr. Nihar. And along with that, if we want to take the admission process, entire admission process in one go or in one day, please do visit on 27th May. And with that, we will, one second, Dr. Nihar. Yes, Professor, we have one more question. David is asking about, do investment banking role come on campus and how much they hire?
Traditionally, we do not have investment banking roles that come on via this program. Although we've had a few standalone individuals who have gone into investment banking, but one thing I would really suggest is that is one area that we are very keen on developing. We are trying to strengthen that. So, like in our finance area, people who will teach you on this program, there are people like we have Professor Harsimran Sandhu, who was an executive director at Standard Chartered, for 20 years. We have Professor Anand Krishnamurthy, who was the global managing director of balance sheets for HSBC, managing over 13 countries. So we have, very, very special people coming from this very industry into the teaching, teaching you in the classroom. So, and that opens up opportunities because, our sort of access to these companies is good if you are the right kind of person who has the right kind of skill set for investment banking. It is not going to be difficult for us to get you a right role in those companies because we have respectable people from that industry working with us, teaching us on this program, and doing projects with them and working with them. So for example, when Rishikesh said I head the Center for Enterprise and Business Improvement, so that is the consulting arm of IMT Ghaziabad. That is the industry academia interface. So one of the projects we are doing with a company is on managing their wealth portfolio, wealth and portfolio management. So, there are opportunities wherein you can work on those things. As far as finance knowledge is concerned, you have 4 subjects that you go through. You go through financial accounting, you go to management accounting, you go through financial statement analysis, you go through corporate finance. Plus if we give you, I forgot to mention, we give you full access of Coursera. So you can even do specialized courses on wealth management online. Plus you can do projects. While historically I cannot give you data that, okay, we have placed, a lot of people in this industry, but future looks good for this particular industry and IMT Ghaziabad. We are very comfortable in terms of placing individuals in these type of industries, these type of roles.
All right. With that, one more question is, Jafar is again talking about if somebody wants to join startup or something like that. So, Dr. Nihar, if I would request you if you can just enlighten us on the starting. If you want to, if somebody wants to start startup or something.
So if you want to start a company, if you are a startup person, then, we have a full-fledged incubator at IMT Ghaziabad, which was just launched last year. It is, we already have 12 startups onboarded, which are from healthcare to deep tech, etc. And there is a full support system over there. So there's a wide mentor pool that you can get access to. There are faculty mentors over there, faculties who were previously venture capitalists, now have turned into academics who guide you. So plus, a lot of IMT graduates are, have become very successful entrepreneurs, PharmEasy being one. We have the right environments with the incubator in place to allow you to develop your startup idea. You can have faculties to mentor you in terms of developing your business plan, in terms of developing your go-to-market strategy. In terms of developing your product. We also have an MOU with an engineering institution in Delhi. So if you have any technical, sort of requirements of developing a product, then we do have access to their incubator as well. So I think, you're more than welcome. We encourage budding entrepreneurs to join this program and work with us via the incubator. You're on mute, Rishikesh.
Thank you. Thank you so much once again. Priya, you are asking about expected result date for round 4. So I would again request to Priya, you please write us on PGDM ExP at IMT.in, and definitely I will definitely personally get in touch with you and all your queries as well. So I think with that, Professor Nihar, even we are now exceeded the time by 7 minutes. So can we close?
Yeah, sure. I mean, we exceeded the time, I think, because we had some really good questions come in. So I would just like to echo Rishikesh and say that, please don't hesitate to write to us. We are quite responsive. If you have any questions, just write to us and we will give you clarity as soon as possible. If you can visit our campus on the 27th of May for our open day, it would be brilliant because you can have a look at the campus. And you can, there is a lot of things planned for that day. You can meet the faculty, you can have your profile assessed. So a lot of questions about, whether this profile is right for me or that, whether I'm good enough or, whether I can get this role. It will be better if you can come that day so that I can have a look at all your documents and, then we can have a more fruitful discussion. So that's not the day wherein, we're sort of doing formal interviews, but we are assessing the profiles of people and advising them accordingly. We will be talking about the program more. You will get to interact with the faculty. So if you are around Delhi NCR or even beyond, you're more than welcome to come to the IMT Ghaziabad Open Day. So thank you, Rishikesh. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining in and patiently being with us for the duration of this webinar. We will keep having this webinar on different topics, so if you want to join in any one of our future webinars, you're most welcome.
Sure. Thank you so much once again, Mr. Nihar, and we will close here.
Thank you.
And thank you so much once again. And I would request all of you, if you want to really evaluate your profile one-on-one in person, you are invited to attend our profile day and admission day on 27th May at IMT Ghaziabad campus, and timings are from 12 p.m. to 6 p.m. With that, we will close this. Thank you so much, all of you, for attending this webinar.